Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us here on Variant Rolls for Saturday morning D&D in Hell. Descent into Avernus Session 2. Welcome back if you joined us last week. Just plain welcome if you didn't. We're happy that you're here this morning, or evening, as is the case for our lovely fighter. My name's Eugenio. I use he, him pronouns. I am also occasionally known as your friendly neighborhood Dungeon Master, DM Jazzy Hands, and I will be leading this motley crew name pending through their jaunt into Avernus. Let's go around real quick and introduce players, characters, and briefly where we can find you on the interwebs. Let's start with Alex.
Hello, I am Alex, and you can find me on Twitter at AlexCatu. I'm playing Evie this evening. She, her pronouns for both myself and my character. Evie is our fighter, and playing her even just once so far has been an absolute delight, and I can't wait to cause more chaos with her.
Amen. Jeremiah.
Hi, I'm Jeremiah, and I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Scribbler, and he does not like chaos.
Doesn't he? It could have fooled me from last week. Dobbs.
Hi, I'm Dobbs. You can find me just about anywhere under Dobbsmosis. And I'm playing Imba, the elderly little goblin artificer. Oh, hello, honey. The very chaotic little grandma. I use she or they pronouns. Imba uses she, her pronouns. And Granny has a bike, so let's see what happens today.
Oh, God.
Granny has a bike.
Indeed. I think that might be this week's title, and we're not even 5 minutes in. All right, Mike.
What's up, guys? I forgot to change my overlay on here because I'm signed in on my partner's stuff.
Oh, I wondered.
Yeah. Apologies, I've been having some technical issues today.
It's okay.
My name is Mike. I use he, him pronouns. I will be playing Charity. They use they, them pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at Enzo Michael, and you can find me on Instagram at
Somebody's breathing
Mike, what the
into
hell?
their mic. I love you all, but somebody mute your mic.
It is. It's probably not me.
Sorry,
It's
Mike,
like-
go ahead.
No, you're totally fine. Yeah, you could find me on Instagram at Mike What the Hell, all one word. And I'm usually just shit posting about D&D. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, and last but most certainly not least, Wally.
Hello, good morning. My name is Wally. He uses he, him pronouns. I play Captain Julius, also uses he, him pronouns. You can find me on the Twitter at Wally132. Also, you can find me with the Decode podcast on the Decode Twitch stream. Oh boy, I'm loving this character so much. Thing is, play a Hell Pirate.
I love it. That is our crew for this morning. Real quick before we get started, some housekeeping things. First of all, if you haven't already, hit the little heart at the top of your browser so that you follow the channel and get notified every time one of our many, many shows goes live. You don't want to miss out on anything. Also, just so you all know, immediately following this morning's Descent into Avernus stream, we're going to take like a very brief break, and then I will be back with our channel's founder, Dan, as the two of us are going to review a 5e setting product called Arcanus that we have had in our hands for some time. We're going to do a brief little review. I say brief, I have no idea how long it'll last. Not more than an hour, because we both have places to be. But if you want to stick around for that after we're done with this game at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be here to do that. So I think that's all the housekeeping stuff. Anything I missed? I'm mostly asking Alex, since she's also on the creative council for the channel with me.
I was completely paying attention to that.
I think that's all the housekeeping, right? That's all the good stuff?
Yeah, that's pretty much everything.
Okay,
Like,
great.
subscribe.
All right, great.
Thank you for supporting us.
Yes, absolutely. I'll do the whole spiel at the end of the stream, but for right now, maybe we should jump back in. Who wants to give us a little, we've gotten bits and pieces of what happened last week with our episode title and other bits, but who wants to give us a little overview of what happened last week, or at least part of an overview? We can bounce it around.
Oh, okay. So last time we found ourselves on our gigantic hell machine that we have labeled the Bluebird, is because it's a nice shade of baby blue. in this gigantic hellscape. As we were traveling, we noticed a city that was being ascended by a bunch of chains. It was ascending or descending. I don't remember if it was, or was it just hanging there?
It's being pulled down.
Yeah, it's being pulled down. Yeah. And it was being descended by a bunch of chains. So we saw that. We decided to start driving towards that. But while we were driving, we noticed that we were being approached by another hell machine and 2 smaller crafts, which turned out to be motorcycles. So we decided, well, it's time to fight them. We decided to initiate the attack by running through one of them and keep on going. As we went barreling through this wasteland, we fired our harpoons at them. We started ramming them, but then our precious, delightful chaos grandmother decided that she wanted one of those bikes. So we threw her on one of those bikes, and now she has one of those bikes. And well, that's where things got even worse. We continued fighting this the larger of the Hellcrafts. And our wonderful bard, they decided to, well, I want to jump on one of these Hellcrafts. So they launched themselves onto the Hellcraft, fought the creature at the helm of it, and then suddenly a voice
surrounded.
Oh yeah, surrounded, yes.
Became surrounded by people jumping back onto the craft.
Yes. After we dispatched a majority of those people surrounding our bard, suddenly they heard a voice in their head saying...
No, I think it was just Charity who heard Charity who heard
was the one who heard the voice in their head. Yeah, Charity was the one who heard a voice in their head as calling them their pet, which has a pretty spoopy undertones there.
When I just hear it all laid out like that, it's kind of fun how ridiculous it all is. Anything else anyone feels like they want to add?
After a lot of debate,
there was definitely a very cool sideswiping drifting moment from the captain.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Got some cool moves on the machine.
Don't get your instinct flight.
We also debated the use of fueling these machines.
Oh yes,
they run and are operated on a thing called soul coin, and those are, as you can imagine with the name, souls that are pressed into a coin and are the currency of the hells. They are traded, bartered, and often used as the main currency in hell. They also fuel the machines. After debate as to whether or not we should use them, one of them was destroyed in an attempt to free the soul from it, and we have carried on since.
All right. A pretty solid, pretty well detailed recap. So that's where we are. We are in, also, if you haven't figured this out yet, the first layer of hell, Avernus. It's not a very nice place. It is the site of the Blood War, the endless war between demons and devils. The demons come into this first layer of hell via various portals, generally sort of centered on or near the River Styx, and things go crazy. So here we are. We were. Oh, is there some? There was one. Oh, yeah. That's about to become kind of super important. So yes, also recently, a great big city appeared over the River Styx. I'll bring that image up. A big city appeared over the River Styx. It is chained to the ground, and the chains that are attached to the city are slowly and inexorably drawing it into the River Styx. The city is topped by some dark sphere, some black sphere that is crackling with lightning and firing lances of lightning down onto the city at regular intervals. No one in the party is exactly sure what the city is or where it came from, but it probably shouldn't be there, is what we know so far. So as we mentioned at the end of last week, we were mid-war machine combat, and this is something that we might do sort of as we see fit, because we have 12 weeks and a lot to get through. So occasionally, we will sort of toss out ideas in the interim weeks in between our episodes to wrap up scenes that we didn't quite manage to finish in the last week. So that's what we did this week for the rest of this War Machine combat. So let me update you viewers on what's happened. So the combat continued fiercely for some, 12 to 18 seconds. Rounds in D&D are funny. For some 12 to 18 seconds after we left our adventures, it wasn't long before Imba, Chaos Granny, heard a rather large boom behind her, and she turned to look, and the warbike that was chasing her as she tried to escape on her warbike exploded into a massive fireball, a danger when one uses Demon Ichor for a turbo boost in your engine. So that didn't go super well for that devil. The devil thought that he would be fine being immune to fire and didn't really count on the piercing and slashing damage caused by the shrapnel flying at high speeds from the exploded warbike. So that's one devil and one bike down. Not long after that, the driver of the large war machine that Charity and someone else...
It was
Was it Evie? Yeah, that
it
Charity
was
and Evie were on, began to... was it Evie?
No, because
Evie fired the harpoon. You fired the harpoon into it. Yeah.
That's right. Well, at any rate, that one decided that things did not look so hot for it, considering that both of its support vehicles had been taken down, and so it began to disengage and run. Despite perhaps our character's desire to go after it, Charity's psychic call from some mysterious creature convinced them to pull back, and the rest of the crew followed. While Charity had a brief conversation, which we will do a bit of here, Imba, our wonderful goblin granny, went over to the exploded warbike, scavenged some parts. There wasn't a ton left, if I'm being honest, but hey, even just a little bit of metal to patch holes and make repairs down the road is enough. So Imba did that. And that, I believe, is where we are at this point. The party is now in possession of a warbike and their original war machine that they had. And Charity, that voice in your head continues to speak to you. My pet, I have a job for you. It would be best if you didn't handle this one on your own, but it seems that you found such good friends to assist you.
That I have. Oh, shall we meet?
No.
You make me sad. Well, fine. Where would you like for me to take them?
I need you to retrieve some things for me. Offer your friends whatever it takes to get them on board, as long as they help you. I need you to retrieve for me some items that I forged long ago. 9 adamantine rods. Over time, they have been lost to me. Retrieve them for me, pet.
Well, you can count on me.
Your best bet to begin tracking them down would be that fascinating character Mahadi, but one can never really rely on him to be where and when you need him. So if you aren't fortunate enough to cross paths with his wandering emporium, your next best course of action would likely be to seek out the mad night hag at Fort Knucklebone. Her fascination with all things... well, let's just say that I have reason to believe that she may have information regarding the rods. Her stronghold, Fort Knucklebone, doesn't move around quite as much as the Wandering Emporium.
Well, if we catch them both on the way,
So much.
luck
the
may have
better.
it. Luck may be on our side today.
Leans over to Evie. Is he talking to himself?
I was
You
wondering
guys
if anyone was
see,
gonna.
like, eyes rolled back in the head, just like,
But like, definitely speaking out loud, right?
yeah.
Quietly, but like, it's the
No.
creepiest damn thing.
Julius raises his hands and like goes, you okay over there?
Just
Not
eyes come
the
back. Oh
weirdest
yes,
thing.
just a moment, and then immediately eyes flip back.
Oh, that's even creepier.
Am I the only
Not
one
the-
kind of disturbed by this? I understand the group we have, but am I the only one kind of disturbed
No.
by that?
No, it's just one of many things that he does that disturbs me.
What did you just say, Evie? Did you say it's fine?
He seems fine. It's fine.
Evie,
Not the
Standard.
weirdest thing we've seen this week.
Evie,
It's fine.
if you saw your friend suddenly roll back into their head and start talking out loud, will you say that's fine?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you precious summer child.
Fine.
That's why we love
I mean,
you.
it could be so much worse. I mean, it's not like super normal, but I mean, think about how much worse it could be.
I've
Oh,
seen weird.
Actually, thinking about this, do any of you guys speak Infernal? 'Cause-
I do.
I do.
Okay.
No.
That
Then
feels,
you two,
feels like
you
an
two would
important
understand
skill.
what's happening.
Why
Yeah,
would I need to speak Infernal?
the two of you would understand that then. Like
That's
what he's
I'm
saying.
freaked
Yeah.
out right now.
Evie's like,
Hmm.
do I?
Actually,
Uh-oh.
so I'm gonna do something.
Oh, I can't
Oh, no.
wait.
I cast Detect Thoughts.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Hmm.
Yeah, you do. Okay.
No, I absolutely do.
On who? Or just
Charity, of
Yeah.
course.
specifying?
So sans save, Charity, Scribbler will get some surface thoughts from you. So give us some basic surface thoughts and emotions and things, and then Scribbler can decide if he wants to press the case.
The surface thoughts are, at the moment, serve them, take what I need, make it back, and reap my reward.
Fair enough. Scribbler.
So
I'm prepared.
first off, that's getting encoded.
Oh, yes, I forgot you have that. I love that.
So you guys see me sort of wrap my hands and pull like a glowing thread out of my hands as I concentrate and attach
so
it
cool.
to a thing on my my robes, and I lean towards Charity and say, "Who are you talking to?"
I just kind of turn.
I'm looking for the surface thought on this one.
Yeah, he's still reading those, so.
I'm speaking to the one that gives me my powers.
Oh, that's true enough. I was expecting to have this little conversation about obfuscating your surface thoughts, but there it was.
Yeah. So
Do you?
Charity, have you ever interacted in person with this person?
I think yes,
Okay.
because it's probably where I obtained the
Oh, sure. Sure, the rod.
item,
Yes.
the rod that I obtained from them.
Sure. So in that case, Scribbler, I think that you see a very brief flicker of. In fact, let me. Well, it's fine. A very brief flicker of a very large devil when Charity says, "The one that gives me my power." Not enough to get super clear identification, but definitely something large, something with wings, something red.
Okay.
Do I see the thread that you're currently holding?
It's actually attached to my robe, but yeah.
I just love that spell. I think it's so cool.
Interesting. Someone so caught up in morality, you just seem to probe without consent. That's interesting to me. And I just turn and I'll walk over to the captain.
Okay. I'm definitely not going to push for an actual probe.
Sure, sure.
That is awesome.
I would like to consider us friends of
Yes.
some nature.
Yes.
Either work friends or at least friends.
I think you've earned the title.
Yeah, that's what I like to consider itself. You're doing things I don't recall you doing before. Does something occur that you would like to talk about?
I mean, it's nothing not out of my wheelhouse. I simply spoke with something, as I came to you, someone of greater stature than myself, someone who was in command of leagues, and simply asked to be a part of them, as I did with you. I came aboard your ship and joined your masses, and so I have done here.
I see. And I start speaking in Infernal. There were certain things that you said that may seem a little bit questionable.
Do tell. Still Infernal, yeah.
It sounds like where you were agreeing to do things.
Naturally. It is a barter system between the two of us.
Oh, of course. I actually like these people.
Yes.
That's a rare find for me.
As Jeremiah says that, Evie is tossing bits of jerky off the back of the chip so that Granny can catch it in her mouth.
I was just about to ask what Imba was doing.
I generally like these people. Let's try not to get them hurt.
Of course not. No.
But in the end, also, we walk away with much money as possible.
Why do you think I'm doing this? Of course, a step up for me is a step up for you and the lot of here as well. If I can earn my place here, I can wind up getting us out very easily. I can take time to let you all free without harm. That's why I'm here. I was here to help you and to get you out. And if you and the lot would like to go, I would like to do so. I would like to wind up climbing these ranks in order to get you the power to do so freely.
Well,
come and go as you please. You always have a place.
Go as I please.
Yes. That is why I am doing this, is to help us. You wanted to come down here, and I see that you're quite content.
I'm quite comfortable down here.
I believe Evie is as well. And so that way, if I can get it so that you guys can, meander coming through, why not?
All right, fine. And I switch back to Common, like, well, whatever you have planned, I know is for the best for the group. And I pat Charity on the shoulder.
I did say offer whatever them you want. Hold on, before we speaking of, I do want to know how Imba is doing with the jerky and whatever else she is working on.
Yes, no, I want to take a very hard look over.
I want to know what Imba is doing.
Yeah.
So I'm probably just all over this bike, taking notes. I probably have random sheets of paper and just figuring out how the Infernal War Bike works, like not just running off of souls, but just the actual mechanical parts of it.
Totally.
And so I'm probably like on the ground, next to the big machine. Is everyone like talking like on the top of the machine?
No, Charity would have been off to the side. He wouldn't have been on the machine yet.
Because Evie, were you throwing the jerky from on top of the war machine, or?
I think Evie's probably like reclining in the claw at the back, swinging about.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it's like, and as she tosses jerky, like you see Imba kind of pop up and just.
And,
I love her.
I imagine as our captain goes and says, "I'm quite fond of them." That just like.
So a mechanical question.
Yeah, tell me.
Are we taking a short rest?
I think we can say that through all of this, I mean, at the very least, Imba's going to want to take some time to do that. So yeah, you all can totally have a short rest while we go through all of this.
Thank you.
Imba.
I have just recovered my spell slot.
You have. Hey, Imba, why don't you, because I do think this is probably going to come up, at least for as long as you all can keep your war machines unexploded. Why don't you make me either an intelligence investigation or an intelligence arcana check? Looks like they're both the same for you. But anyway, make me one of those as you sort of get in there in these machines.
So. So that will be a 13.
Okay. Do me a favor and keep track. So that's going to be a success. And what I'm doing here is I'm just every now and again, when you have a moment to sort of investigate the things and sort of learn about the things and tinker with them, I'm just going to have you make one of those and just keep track of how many successes you get as you, this is a mechanic that I'm literally making up on the spot. But as you do more of those, we will assume that you are learning more and more about the workings of this thing. So when push comes to shove and you may need to repair things or upgrade things or build things on, the more time you've spent sort of investigating and learning about these war machines, I might give you advantage on a roll down the road or give you expertise in checks dealing with your war machines or things like that. So just have a little place somewhere on your sheet where you can sort of keep track of how many of these you've done successfully. And that one is a success.
Excellent. So 1 out of 1.
1 of 1. All right, excellent. So what do we do? We take this rest. We have these conversations. We eat some
Charity
jerky.
would have called the group together.
Okay.
And let them all know that I have a job for us if we would like to take it. It will pay decently. And if we wind up completing it, I could wind up culling a favor that could get you lot out of here if you so choose.
Well, considering that I know myself, I would love passage outside this realm, but also continuing my stay here is also something I would very much enjoy doing. I am fine for this, especially if it pays well.
Evie, did you have something? Did I see you waving?
Evie kind of looks at Charity, looks at the group, looks back to the city gradually falling into the river Styx. Yeah, I'm sure that's nothing.
Evie, that is a problem for future us.
Yeah, I'm sure that's nothing. I'm sure it's fine.
It might take us over there, now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway.
I mean, I just wanted to remind everyone of this. He's slowly falling into the river Styx. But
as Scribbler goes to talk, Charity just puts a finger up and looks over at Imba.
Oh my god. Go ahead.
And then he looks back over at Scribbler.
I would forego payment if it meant that we could get assistance in helping to fix that problem, and pointed over to the city that's being pulled down.
I'll see what I can do. In the meantime, keep your eyes out for a wandering merchant. You know, the one with the good food, the traveling cart.
Right, yes.
Yes, if you find him, A, get me something to eat. I'm starving. B, just keep him there for a moment. I need to talk with him. Cool.
I've got jerky.
I've got jerky. It says, what a great fade out line for this scene. I love it. All right, so what is just sort of logistically speaking, what is the plan here?
Well, I suppose we're going to be keeping a lookout for this merchant. But since it seems to be the consensus that that city is a problem, perhaps we should make our way over there, or at least towards the direction of it.
Charity.
Interesting.
Sorry, say again, Evie.
It's at least interesting.
That it definitely is.
It is interesting, yes.
I do somewhat recall that. I mean, yeah, we should probably check it out. Fine.
Scribbler, sorry, I said Charity, and I actually meant Scribbler. Scribbler, do me a favor. Roll me percentile, would you?
Certainly. That's usually a bad sign, but sure.
Not this time. You're not wrong, but not this time.
86.
I don't have... Oh, great. Okay, excellent. That makes this way easier. So, Scribbler, you have, in your brief little time here in Avernus, one of the things that you have come across, in addition to that soul coin that you experimented on and just ended up destroying, you also found a curious map of Avernus. Now, the map, I will say, is... of dubious reliability, and not necessarily because of the map itself, but just because that's the one. Oh, it's like we planned it. I mean, we definitely planned it, because I plan. So it's dubious, not, like I said, not because of the map itself, but because the geography of Avernus is in of itself rather unpredictable. Distances and locations shift and change. But this at least gives you a basic sense of where things are. Now, I don't think on that version, I don't think Fort Knucklebone is actually marked. But on the version that Scribbler has, Fort Knucklebone is, in fact, notated in its location on the map, and it seems that it's actually not terribly far off from where you are right now, at least as the map goes.
Okay.
Is it anywhere near that descending city?
It is in the direction of the descending city. I don't think it's super close to it, but it's definitely closer to it than you are now.
Cool. Well, I mean, we can make our way there. I just might need to make a pit stop.
I mean, if you need to make a pit stop there, then I see why not. Also, perhaps it might be beneficial for us to stop there, especially if it is a fortress of some sorts.
Of course.
They may have supplies we could use, especially Imba. I have a little bit of a request. If we could, perhaps we could do something with these harpoons. In that, I would like to see if we can do something with it too. That perhaps when we are facing another one of these war machines, that we can use these harpoons to grapple them, and perhaps pierce their sides and use them as siege devices. Storming the craft or whatever, however you want to say it. But I think that might be a good idea. If perhaps we can work something out with that.
Like we had on the boat?
Exactly. Those things we had on the boat, yes. I would like to create something equivalent to that nature.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's possible if we had the necessary materials to actually, maybe... what if we, get this... sort of chain rope thing, and it's like that way the machine actually will have a crank that just automatically starts reeling it in.
I like where you're thinking.
Yes, that right there. That is perfect. That is something I would like if you could work on that for the ship.
I mean, if you get me the materials in enough time, I can make just about anything happen.
Well, it looks like we will need to fight more of these war machines then, and I know you will love to do that.
Oh, honey, I'm so excited about this bad boy. And she's patting the motorcycle. which is so
If
much.
you can
bigger
equip
than
a
her.
sidecar to that, let me know.
Oh man.
Oh, honey, I already got the plans drafted. It's the right here. I just you wait, and I'm gonna make it happen.
While you're doing research, might I suggest finding an alternative, source of power?
But we have a source of power, though.
One that is fraught with problematic elements that we have already argued about. If we could find one that wasn't problematic, wouldn't that be better?
It is a reliable source of fuel that we have currently. So, in the meantime, I say
can't
sure.
come up with a reliable one?
I'm saying we already have one, and so while you can try, I'm still going to be fueling this with what we've got.
I mean, if I do change it, I need to make sure that, it's something we can get down here.
Well,
but it would be nice not to have to rely on this little coin. Sometimes it's so hard to haggle with some of these devils, I tell you.
Well, how about
leave that to me?
The river Styx? I mean, water is used for power, isn't it? The water wheels, that's what they are, right? Water wheels. That's how they work, right? You pour water on the wheel and it turns and it powers something. I don't know science.
Charity just walks over, pats the captain on the shoulder, and is like, let's start driving.
Oh, yeah, fine.
Sorry, I don't know if you all noticed me just leap out of my chair. We had a notification of a follow from the channel itself, and it scared the bejesus out of me. Anyway.
The channel has followed you.
Yeah, clearly. All right, excellent. As my heart rate slows, so are we heading towards Fort Knucklebone?
Wow.
Oh, we're going there.
We're definitely going to that place.
Oh yeah.
That reminds me of one of my favorite bloopers from my podcast that I still go back and listen to when I'm sad. I tried to say Yuan Ti City very, very quickly.
Oh, dear.
And so in the introduction of this episode, I said, last week on The Last Refuge, the party arrived at the Yuan Ti City. And we just lost our minds. And that was it. I have 3 minutes of us just laughing on air. It was great. Anyway, all right. So off we go. Yes, to Fort Knucklebone. It's not actually that far away. So in terms of travel through the wastes of Avernus, it's not asking a ton of you all. It'll probably take a couple of hours, which is a couple of hours of fuel that you all have already in the war machines. I know that I think I said there was 24 hours left in the big one, and Imba, I don't remember how much I told you there was in the bike. Did I tell you a number?
I believe
6 to 8.
I can pull it up.
That's what I thought too.
That's what I thought
okay,
too.
Great.
And the bike is not big enough that it can be stashed on the war machine, is it? Or is it too big?
Can we pick it up with the crane?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it might be actually. Let's see. The Devil's Ride is large, and the big one is huge. I think you could probably manage that if you wanted. Well,
Okay.
Here's what I'll say. I think you could probably manage it, and here are your options. Imba could eventually sort of rig something up so that you could have it on the big one. For right now, what you would have to do is grab it with the grappling claw, and that's gonna be a little awkward. It will make it so that you can't use the grappling claw, and also that grappling claw is just swinging out front, so it's probably gonna bash up against the front of the thing. So you can totally do it, but
oh wait, hold on.
it'll be a bumpy ride.
I'll pull out the 50 feet of rope that I have in my pack, and I will start to if we pick it up, I'll latch the rope around the back of the bike, and I'll try and tie it to the end of the claw so that it's not swinging violently.
Good idea.
Oh, all right. That was clever.
We're going to jury rig an infernal bike rack.
All right,
because
I buy it.
Nobody uses the rope that is in their pack ever, and I was like, oh, why don't
I'm gonna have to introduce you to the woman that plays Bizdira on my show. We have a joke that every time she mentions her rope, we have to drink. We don't, because we would never be sober for an episode.
I love it.
Okay, that was clever. Sure, I'll buy it. It's definitely not a permanent fix, because that rope down here is not going to last forever, but it'll work for now.
Oh yeah, that's got.
I like it. Okay. So you all head through and you just see, I mean, when I say the wasteland of Avernus, you can hear, there's sort of always a sort of low-level din of battle, of the Blood War coming from somewhere. And as you drive through, heading in the direction of Fort Knucklebone, or at least what you hope is the direction of Fort Knucklebone, there is the reek of brimstone and burning tar just runs through your nostrils as this hot wind blows past your face. You can see off in the distance, sort of to your right, at one point you can see an enormous swarm of hell wasps, these giant, horrible bugs that have a particular taste for celestials, and you just see them sort of swarming about, and fortunately not flying anywhere in your general direction. But they are very loud, and they blot out what light there is in that portion of the sky. But eventually, you do in fact see in the distance, a little ways forward, you can see a fortified compound sitting sort of atop a low plateau that rises out of a crater-pocked landscape just beyond this rise. At the center of the compound is a hill of rust-colored stone that sort of looks like a hand clawing its way out of the ground with gaps between the fingers. There's a jagged wall made of rock, bone, and metal debris surrounding the hill, and you can also see a gatehouse on one end, sort of the side of the fortress that's facing you all. And you can just barely make out, I don't know, maybe a half dozen tiny figures that seem to be patrolling the gatehouse, though it's hard to make out exactly what they are from this distance.
Charity just looks up and is like, that's probably it.
Seems like a fortress.
I'm going to ask, do I know anything about
Fort Knucklebone?
Yeah, I mean, I've got religion, history, arcana.
Sure. I'll take an intelligence history check, and I'll take that from anybody who wants to see if they can dredge up some info.
Do I have to be proficient in history to make it?
You don't, but there's a train. Listen to that. Hold on. They're very loud.
I got a 14.
14.
I got an 17.
Okay, great. Anybody else wanting to make? I'll let you all sort of be the judge of if you think it's...
I did, but I got a 7.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
Which one was it again?
I'll take intelligence history.
Hey, do you think that place is made
7.
of bones?
Bones? All right.
I lean over to Evie. I say, it's not made of bones.
Scribbler, you have heard a few things in your studies, or maybe in your time here, although it's been minimal so far. What you know about Fort Knucklebone, first of all, is that it is the headquarters, the base, the whatever, of one of several warlords of Avernus, and you don't know a ton about most of them. Other than that, Avernus is sort of littered with these war bands that are led by powerful beings. Not all of them necessarily devils or even fiends. Some of them are led by other humanoids, but they sort of roam Avernus. Sometimes they act as mercenaries and do fight in the Blood War, but for the most part, they're just sort of out for themselves. Fort Knucklebone is run by one of the more famous war leaders, and her name is Maggie. She is a night hag, and she runs a pretty tight ship here in Fort Knucklebone. You know that for the most part, her entourage is made up of red caps. And sort of hell-twisted red caps, which we'll see shortly. What else might you know with that 17? Maggie is... I mean, for the most part, all of the warlords are evil to some extent. Maggie, though, has a reputation for being fairly reasonable and pragmatic, and definitely not chaotic. She's smart, and she's willing to. She's been known to, make deals with just about anybody, or work with just about anybody if it means getting what she wants. And what she wants is not always straight up terrible either. Like, unlike devils, her deals are not always sort of, a little twisted and designed to catch the deal maker.
Okay. And I do relay that to everybody.
Great.
She sounds fun.
A night hag. Huh.
A nag, if you will.
I don't think they like to be called that.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Nag it the fuck up.
I am not going to make the choices for you. However, I think that might not have the response that you are looking for.
I'm pretty good at picking up social cues. I think I'll be fine.
We'll see.
He sounds like one of my kind of people.
Explosive?
That's the word.
Did you say old? Ooh, I don't know why that tickled me so much, but it did.
So the funny thing is, goblins don't have a really long lifespan.
No, I know. That's what I love about this.
So she's actually the same age probably as Scribbler. Maybe even a little younger.
Oh, I love it.
But she's a grandma for a goblin.
Oh my god, I love it. I love it.
Oh boy.
All right, so that is what you see not too far in the distance. And that is what Scribbler knows and relays to all of you about this place.
In a professorial tone the entire time. Like he's lecturing all of you. Yes.
And most of the way there by the time we finish.
Through the thing, Charity's just like plucking at the rope that's tying the machine down. It's just like, oh, if only this would swing.
So Julius looks up at them, takes a swig from a flask, frowns because it's empty. Well, I suppose if we need to go through here, we'll have to speak with this delightful woman. Charity?
Yes, I would love to speak to the woman. What?
Well, I was going to ask if you would like to speak to this lovely young lady that we'll be seeing pretty soon.
I look over at Scribbler and I'm like, social cues.
So many adjectives, and none of them were ones I would have used, but all right. Great.
Yes.
So do you all approach in your scavenger? Do you park it somewhere and walk? How do we approach?
I will.
Scavenger parking look like?
Yeah, is there scavenger parking nearby the fort?
Yeah, but it's valet only, and like
I don't want to deal with valets.
Really hit you up for tips.
I don't
with this one.
want to deal with valets. Someone.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with valet.
I'm gonna look for parking. I'm gonna look for parking.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh God, parking in hell. Oh God, it's like New York.
You thought it was bad in New York, yeah.
It's Disney and New York combined. Oh God.
Oh God. No, I mean, if you, it's totally up to you. You could leave it somewhere. Obviously, there are pros and cons to trying to bring it in and to leaving it outside. It's up to you.
Is there a watchman or guard outside of Fort Knucklebone?
From this distance, it looks like there are some guards or something that are patrolling the gatehouse from the walls of the fortress, but not outside of it. It doesn't look like. They're all sort of on the walls or in the gatehouse. Well,
they're going to notice us if we pull this large machine up. So I'm going to, if you are object to me piloting our craft up to the fort.
And then I will, I'll like make my way up to the top of it and I will like hail to them.
Okay. As you get closer and get sort of right up to the gate, you can see that the guards on top of this gatehouse are in fact 6 red caps. Tiny. Oh, here's another train. small fey creatures, sort of gnarled, wrinkly, with white little strands of white hair sticking out from their blood-red hats, hence the name, and carrying wicked-looking sickles. And as they walk along the top of this gatehouse, you can hear every step that they take as they're wearing these incredibly heavy, loud iron boots as they walk around up there. And they see you all approach, and they see you hail them, Charity, and as soon as you're within shouting distance, one of the red caps yells down and says, "What's the password?"
Oh,
Your
we
mother
weren't
was
aware
a
of-
hamster and your father smelled of elderberries.
And they hear that, and they look at each other, and they just burst into laughter. A few of them you see drop out of sight as they fall over from laughter, and you hear one of them in the back saying, "We didn't have a password, but that's the password now."
I go up for a high five for
They immediately are like, "Open the gates!" And they'd open the gates for you all, and the gates are quite large. You could probably fit the war machine through them if you needed to. But these red caps are either the worst guards ever, or I don't know, maybe the best, and it's all just a plot. Who knows?
Well,
I love them already.
I will
go.
pilot the Warcraft through the gates.
Okay. So as you come in, a bunch of the red caps sort of, to say they swarm the machine makes it sound way more threatening than it is, but they come up alongside it. And once you're sort of fully inside, they direct you off to the right a little ways to sort of an open area where there are a few other bits and bobs sort of parked in there, a few other smaller machines and such. And
VIP parking.
They indicate that you probably shouldn't drive this thing around the fort much beyond this point.
All right, well, I park it among the other machines, and then I'll rappel down.
Okay.
And I'll look to one of the caps and ask him, you think you can give this a little bit of a shine?
The cap smiles rather maniacally and just nods slowly.
I walk up
Made an error there, Cap.
to the captain, and I just put my hand on his shoulder, and I just don't ever do that again.
I was just asking.
I just turn to everyone. Make sure you have all of your belongings. Yes. Yes.
Always.
Scribbler, bless his heart. All right, so here, now that you're inside and out of the machine, you can see that the area enclosed by these walls, by the ramparts, is just, particularly this little parking area or whatever it is here, but sort of the whole interior is littered with trash and scrap metal and bits of mechanical parts. Some of them kind of resemble war machine vehicles, but pretty much everything has been taken apart, at least everything in this area. You can see ramshackle sort of structures built in and around the area, built from the same junk, the metal and the bones and the everything as the outer wall. You can see a bunch, now that you're inside, a bunch of these red caps, but some of them look a little different. Some of them look kind of strange, and I'll take intelligence arcana checks from anyone who thinks you might have reason to be able to identify these creatures, which I'm putting up now. I'll put them in the Discord as well.
Don't
so
they
that
look
you all
precious?
Can see them.
So 24?
Oh, yeah.
16.
Okay.
I mean, 14, but never mind.
Proud of you. All right, so
You were very good for you.
That's right. That's right. So, some combination of you all, and for the most part, it seems that you're generally not withholding information from each other, at least not about this sort of thing, recognize that these strange-looking ones, these ones whose caps sort of almost seem grafted to their heads, and their teeth a little extra wicked, and their eyes a little extra mad, as it were, are called madcaps. They are... Oops. They are warped, sort of particularly insane versions of red caps that have come into contact with demonic ichor. These are the ones who here in Avernus have decided that rather than coloring their caps with blood, like most red caps do, these have soaked them in demonic ichor, which just sort of amplifies all of the crazy of the red cap. They're much more unpredictable, a little bit stronger, and generally more terrifying. So they're sort of all over the place. You also notice, sort of not too far from where you parked Bluebird, you notice a pair of kenku, of bird folk, examining one of the sort of piles that looks like it might have at one point been a war machine. And they're sort of chattering to each other in these high-pitched squawks, carrying an assortment of strange tools that they're using to sort of poke and prod at this machine. But they notice you as you all hop out of Bluebird, and they just sort of turn and stare at you sort of unnervingly with their shiny bird eyes.
I just look
You've
back
never
and
seen
smile.
What was that, Imba?
You've never seen an old goblin before? Dang.
They take a few steps towards you, again, just sort of clicking and squawking softly as they look, and they do that sort of bird thing where they turn their heads from side to side as they examine you. And finally, they look at each other and nod, and one of them says, sort of opens their beak, and in a voice that you can't imagine is the Kenku's own, says, "What a deal! Patience is a virtue. Can't keep the boss waiting," and runs off sort of deeper into the camp and into one of the trash structures sort of in that direction.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. We
Nope, don't like that.
Nope, don't like that at all. No. We need to keep an eye on the ship, make sure.
And you told them to give it a shine. Just
Well, I thought it was part of the hospitality of this place, but now I know that we're going to probably get robbed.
Hey, Captain, give me a wisdom perception check, please.
Okay. Oh gosh, a 7.
Okay, great. So,
Moving on.
So it's only a couple of moments after the Kenku runs into one of these trash structures that he comes back out, and he is leading a tall creature wearing a long, tattered shift that's just completely covered in mud, blood, mold, and the gods know what else. And this night hag's eyes sort of seem to move independently of one another as she takes in her surroundings when she comes out of this structure. And you see her occasionally swipe her straggly brown hair out from her face. Resting on each of her shoulder are these 2 ravens with bright red eyes that, whereas the night hag's eyes are sort of taking everything in, the ravens are laser focused on the 5 of you. Behind her, so third in line of this little parade coming out of this building, is this enormous hulking creature that looks like he was sewn together, made of different parts. But though some of you, Scribbler in particular, might sort of immediately recognize the theory behind a flesh golem, this one has been built from fiendish parts rather than humanoid ones. And it seems to sort of have this strange hopping gait as it walks towards you and just sort of lets out a constant low moan as it approaches all of you. And I'm going to toss this little image in the Discord for you as well, since I have it on screen. You may. Oh, yeah. So we also have a little mini of it that Michael recently acquired.
Hey, buddy.
These minis are so good.
Yeah. He's gross.
He is very gross, and I love him.
So
It looks like a something that the Simic and the Rectos would come up with if they worked together.
I had that thought, actually. It does look like something really horrible from the bowels of Ravnica. I also think it looks a little bit
right at home.
like a human centipede experiment gone wrong. Which is saying something, because what does it mean if that experiment goes right? Anyway, so this little parade approaches you, And the night hag finally sort of, both of her eyes sort of snap to the front, and just like her ravens, she focuses in on the 5 of you, and she sort of smiles and lets out a cough and says, "My goodness, where did you find such strapping adventures, Chakra?" And the Kenku in the front just sort of nods and goes to run over next to his other Kenku friends. And she turns to you all and she says, "Welcome to Fort Knucklebone. I am Maggie, warlord of this camp. Who are you?"
I take a deep bow. "Hello, dearest Maggie. My name is Charity. And this is a fine group of friends that I have acquainted with."
I take off my hat and I bow just like a Charity also, with a flourish.
So polite. She's starting to sound like
Hey,
a
doll, I'm
Skeksis, but
Evie.
it's okay. Did you say, "Hey, doll, I'm Evie"? Oh my god, I love her so much.
Hey, doll, I'm Amy.
All right, well, that's fine.
You can call me Imba. It's nice to see someone of experience around here as well, you know.
Oh, I've certainly had experiences. And who is this? She looks at Scribbler.
People called me Scribbler.
Do you scribble much, my dear Scribbler?
Surprisingly, no.
Never seen him do it, not once.
I was asking this, I was wanting the same thing, but I thought it'd been rude to ask.
Hey, for the record, you guys would have seen him.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you have.
Yeah, he's constantly taking notes in a notebook somewhere.
I've never seen it once.
Yeah, but his handwriting's really nice. It's not what I equate with scribbling.
That's the thing. His handwriting is immaculate. It's almost as an
Like-
art form to it.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't call it scribbling.
No, far from scribbles.
I believe it was some sort of attempt at humor by people who met me.
Well, there's no accounting for taste. But you have the look of a learned one about you. And the rest of you, so strong, so capable, just the thing. What brings you to my humble abode?
That war machine.
Yes. Right.
She looks momentarily confused and then says, "Oh, she's clever, or not. I can't tell which. Time will tell. Time will tell."
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm doing Picard moment. On
Yep. Drink.
Well, we are currently just passing through this lovely land, and we saw your wonderful fort here in the distance, and we figured we would stop by and see if it was possible we could meet with the person in charge and hopefully gain supplies as we continue our journey through this area.
Supplies.
If we could parlay, that would be lovely.
Of course, yes.
A parlay. Oh, I haven't had a good parlay in ages.
Well,
Yes.
we will parlay with you as long as you like, ma'am.
Well, in that case, yes. Come with me. Chaka, Clonk, go bring us something to nosh upon, would you? And the two Kenku sort of squawk and click and go running off. Please, come, follow. Mickey, turn around, let's go. And the fiendish flesh golem sort of moans and turns around and begins its pained-looking, hopping gait back the way that it came. And she says, "Don't be shy. Follow."
I do.
Oh, I follow.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fine.
Yeah, I follow.
So she leads you. I do notice that Scribbler was strangely silent in that little "yes, I follow." I should perhaps check in.
There is a deep sigh, and he follows reluctantly behind.
I love it. Excellent. So she brings you into the building that she came out of, which is sort of one of the larger of the trash structures, and sort of offers you all seats. She does have a few sort of bone chairs and such. They're not super comfortable looking, but then again, nothing in Avernus is. And she takes a seat of her own that Mickey sort of drags out for her, and Mickey just like keeps sort of every time Mickey tries to stand still, he sort of like starts to put his weight down on both legs and then sort of hops and leans to one side, and it's just sort of this strange little dance of him hopping center and left over and over, sort of without end. And once you're all sort of as comfortable as you're gonna get, she says, "So, a parlay, is it?"
Indeed. I do the Riker sit as I sit in my chair. Yes, indeed, a parlay. Just a meeting of the minds between our group and your group. But Charity, you would like to say anything to our fine host?
Yes, just a list of supplies that we might need, and some things that you might acquire you may ask for as well, just so that we keep tabs of what we're going to be dealing with here today. Yes?
Oh, of course. Oh, I have my own needs, but let's have a look at yours first, shall we?
Naturally, yes. Scribbler, would you like to keep this and jot this down as a list of articles that we're going to be bartering between the two of us, yes?
I can certainly keep notes as relates to our discussions.
Wonderful, thank you.
Before the discussions go on, Imba, I have to ask, what are you doing?
Imba is sitting down, and she's like,
"That's a big step for her." So,
right? Oh, I didn't say sitting still.
You're right. I spoke too soon.
There it is.
Yeah, she's like fidgeting with a bunch of things because, actually, I don't think I described it. Imba has this sort of backpack thing, and it looks like it has like a few, almost like what are they called? Like not the lightning rods, but kind of similar.
Vacuum tubes.
Oh, Tesla coils.
Similar to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tesla
basically almost like
and...
little Tesla coils and like glass, like God, what are they called? They're not jars, but they're like round, like capsules, glass capsules and such.
Mm-hmm.
And there's tubes that go to a sort of gauntlet thing on one of her arms. And it has all sorts of these little things that you can like switches and things. And she's just like checking things, like she can't stay still. But she's sitting.
Okay.
But she's also like looking.
Yes.
Like,
and there's plenty to look at in here. Not so much mechanical things, but Maggie seems to just have her home or office or whatever this is just festooned with trinkets and oddments and bits and baubles and things all over the place. Plenty to catch Imba's eye.
This is delightful decorations you have around here.
Thank you. So few appreciate my taste.
Wonderful decor you have here, madam.
Thank you. Now, Charity, my dear, tell me, what was it that you needed from me?
Well, I see that you have a lovely abode here. We would require from you, perhaps, a few bits and pieces, some adamantium if you have it, a few bits of scrap to repair ourselves, some food for the journey.
How casual are you trying to be about that adamantine request?
Oh, I slipped it in there. Real.
Why don't you make me?
Just...
This is not exactly it, but I'm gonna have her make a wisdom insight check. So why don't you make me a charisma deception check, and we'll just sort of see where she lies with that. It's gonna stick out to her regardless, but
yeah, no, absolutely. Deception, I'm not perfect.
Is it possible that I can help Charity out with that?
Tell me more.
Because I would like to, when Charity mentions the adamantine, and I say just random adamantine, nothing important to be on with it, kind of thing. I
think that might grant disadvantage.
But like, I would like to not draw too much attention to the fact that they said adamantine.
I would, on an out of character level, love to take a moment to appreciate the fact that Charity does not have deception.
This is that is my favorite thing that I just found out.
Yeah,
I didn't look
Correct.
too super closely at y'all's skills.
So
Why not?
the reason that Charity does not have deception is because Charity is very forthright. Does not necessarily like to lie, just obfuscate and work around because I have persuasion expertise.
Ah, okay.
Well, Evie does have deception.
So
And I think as soon as Charity starts mentioning adamantine, I think Evie's going to look over Nihag's shoulder and just go, you got a severed head on the wall. Like, just as the word adamantine starts to come out. Is that a severed head? That's severed head.
All right, so a lot is happening, which I will say is helpful. So rather than granting advantage, since I hadn't looked at your skills, Charity, why don't we make this a persuasion check then instead? I'll give you that for your friend's help. I'm not sure that either of them are advantage worthy, but they'll switch it to persuasion, which you're better at. So
Try
we'll go with
our best.
that. Yeah,
that'd be a 23 then.
a 20. Ah.
It would have been an 18, but now it's 23.
She rolled an 18 on the die, which means that her insight is a 24. But very good. Like it's just she just barely something sort of sticks out at her. So you go through the list and some adamantine, some scraps, some supplies, and she's sort of just the slightest little tug at the corner of her mouth when you mention the adamantine, but she lets you finish your list. And she says, yes, we have plenty of scraps for repairs. I could provide provisions. Adamantine, though, my goodness, that's hard to come by and awfully specific. But perhaps something could be worked out. I haven't any here, but perhaps I know where you might find some. But of course, let's be honest, we're in hell. This won't be free, my pretties, of course.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
Nothing is
no,
ever
of
free.
course. This is a barter. This is why we parlay.
Fantastic. Well, my bartering's a bit different than others. You see, I have what I need materially. But what I require from you is some assistance.
Well, if you lay out your terms, we can come to an agreement, perhaps.
Excellent. I have found myself in the company of someone who has lost their memory. I have my own... Yes, go ahead, Scribbler.
Yeah, at that point, Scribbler, who has looked a bit aloof, suddenly squints his eyes a bit.
She has much fascinating information locked away in her little brain. It's been lost to her. Now, I have the means to retrieve it, but you see, in retrieving it, I will need someone to plumb the depths of her mind, to bring it out, to bring the memories out. And unfortunately, I can either perform the ritual to grant access to her mind, or I can go in, not both. And let's be honest, I love my friends here, but Chukka and Clonk are not really the types that are going to survive such an excursion. But you all might.
To be clear, you're discussing the potential of sending us into the mindscape of another sentient being.
Isn't it delicious?
Are
I
we
suppose you always said I was a good plumber.
What was that?
are we intended to cause this individual harm?
Oh, not at all. You'll be helping poor Lulu. You'll be retrieving her memories. You'll be allowing her to regain herself. In the process, I will also get a glimpse at her memories, but a small price to pay for her to be returned to her old self, and for you to get the information that you so desire from me.
Well, I'm not saying that we do. I'm not sure of the entire capability of our group. But say we do have the means to do so. What might this require? We go in, what do we do?
Well, that sort of depends on her, but your ultimate goal is to get to the depths of the mind, to find the places that she has locked away and help her to unlock them. Beyond that, I can't say. Her defenses are a mystery to me right now.
How did she get into this state? I'm going to go asking this, but how did your friend here get into a state where she's got no memory and you want to get it back and you're willing to send a bunch of people into her literal mind? It just seems like a kind of state you don't accidentally get yourself into.
It's a very, very good question, my dear, and one that I think we may find some information about, should you agree to my terms. What I can tell you is that I found this poor soul wandering the plains of Avernus just yesterday, you see. And she has no memory of what happened to her. If I'm honest, it seems like someone might have sent her for a little swim in the river Styx, but we'll just have to see, won't we?
May I make a suggestion
You
for
may.
for the purposes of our deliberations? Perhaps it would be advantageous for us to encounter the subject and be able to assess their condition before we agree.
Of course. Mickey, would you go bring Lulu, please? And Mickey sort of moans and does his horrible pained hobble out of the room again. And she says, now, while we wait, why don't I, Chaka! And scurrying in, sort of tripping over himself a bit, is one of the Kenku, and she hands him, she sort of scribbles out a list of provisions and things, and sends him off to go retrieve some of the other things for you. Not the adamantine, but the rest of it she can sort of go to send. Just so that you can inspect the goods. Wouldn't want you agreeing to something sight unseen.
Oh, of course, we would never agree to such terms without knowing what we're getting.
Absolutely.
That's just bad business.
In the workings of forthrightness and the utmost clarity from Charity, I would ask, now, what are these memories to you?
Oh, I have a particular interest in some of the things that I have reason to believe our friend knows about. I am a collector of stories, if you will, stories and the emotions that accompany them.
As am I.
Oh.
And that's why I do love these soul coin.
Oh.
Do you mind if I do an insight check to justify the phrase that popped into my head? And
I would definitely like to do the same thing as Scribbler.
Go for it.
Thank you. You know what? I'll do one too.
Sweet.
Just because I'm probing her for this.
Sounds like Scribbler crit.
I got an 18.
Okay.
I got a 32.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
No, that's not actually
my
correct.
God.
No, sorry, I did the. I added a dice only. 32. Sorry.
Okay, great. And that was a natural 20, right?
Yeah.
Okay. God, I hope so.
Well, this 12 that I rolled seems real nice now.
All right. Well, Charity, I mean, you're dealing with someone in hell. Like, you have a healthy dose of suspicion, but that's about it.
I was reading the wrong thing. It's only 26, but still, yes.
Oh, man, only 26?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, so Scribbler, she is much more than casually interested in whatever this creature's memories are specifically. And what I will say with that natural 20 is you as you've been in here listening to her and Charity sort of go back and forth, you've looked around a little bit and you've seen a few things. She probably doesn't keep her most valuable trinkets and such out in the open like this, but you've noticed a few things that are somewhat celestial in nature. And so going through all of this, you have reason to believe that she's definitely telling the truth, that she is interested in memories and stories and emotions. But this creature and her memories are A, tied to something celestial in nature, and B, more than a passing fascination for her. This is a big deal and something she wants very, very much.
So, Scribbler being Scribbler, he says, this person's secrets will give you an advantage over something in this realm. Something celestial, perhaps. Mm-hmm. And you are wanting to learn the secrets of this celestial, yes?
Astute as well as studious. Oh, I like him more and more. Yes, you are quite correct. I don't see any reason in keeping this from you, since you've already puzzled most of it out, my dear Scribbler. This particular individual, I believe, has some memories.
Of Zerial.
Oh, surprise after surprise. Yes, indeed, my dear. She has memories of not just Zerial, but I believe she may know things about Zerial's fall from grace. The greatest story ever told. If my suspicions are correct, she may have even been there, and can you imagine how delicious the horror must have been to observe a mighty angel falling from the grace of heaven?
That is
What
quite
hordes could fall from my loot for that? Anyway.
Well,
so as she finishes telling you all this, Mickey comes back in, and flying next to him is just the... Oh, where is she? I thought I put... Oh, there she is. Flying next to her is a little golden-furred, winged elephant.
Oh, a delightful little thing. Hello.
I will take intelligence arcana checks from anyone who cares to know what this creature is.
I want to know about the baby. It's not good.
Oh no. All right, well, let's go around. Let's start with Scribbler.
9.
Evie.
14.
Okay, Imba.
18.
All right, Charity.
4.
Aw. And Captain.
14.
Okay, so Captain and Evie and Imba, you all recognize this. You can all have your own reasons for why you know what this is, but the most important thing is that you are very surprised to see a Hollyphant here in Avernus. There we go. Yes, that's what I meant. There are two L's.
Is that some sort of simic experiment?
That's a baby.
And she, the Hollyphant, presumably Lulu, since that's what Mad Maggie has called her on several occasions, turns and says, "Oh, well, no, I'm not an experiment. I'm just Lulu." So Lulu is a Hollyphant. She is a celestial. These are often companion creatures to angels and deities, used as mounts occasionally, and messengers and helpers. They are good boys and girls. They are just the sweetest things, and it is rather strange.
Oh, so precious.
Rather strange to see her here. Also, they're generally quite powerful. Not on an angel scale, but like considering they're small winged elephants and look very cute, they're generally quite powerful. And she says, "Well, hello everybody. My name's Lulu. Maggie here has been rather kind to shelter me since I ran into her yesterday, but she said that maybe you all can help?
Oh, Lulu, we would, yes, yes, we have been tasked to see if we can help you out retrieve those lost memories.
Oh, that would be so nice. I don't know why I'm here, or how I got here, or I don't really remember much of anything.
You're very far away from home.
Yeah.
I would be glad to endeavor to assist in your cognitive disassociations.
Oh,
As
how smart are they? Smart enough to know what all those words meant. Okay.
Okay.
yeah, Charity just kind of looks over and is like, right, yes. Now, in payment for this,
Wait, who are you?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I know this is going to be terrible. Now, the Lulu and Maggie are very different, but their voices sort of sit in the same place in my voice. So this should be fun. Let's make sure I don't do the wrong one. Go on, Charity.
yeah, just hand up to Lulu. One moment, please.
Mhm.
Now, Maggie,
Yes?
the compensation for
You're
this
killing me.
will be,
God.
in fact, scrap, yes, but we have a decent amount that we're acquiring.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this promise of information,
Yes?
more so, or itself, needs to be put out prior to us completing this task, because say we don't come back,
Hmm?
what then?
Well,
It
then
will
I
be for
don't think
naught.
you'll be seeking out your adamantine anyway, now will you?
Precisely. So what harm would it be to give it before we go?
Make a charisma persuasion check, please.
Gosh
Give me.
darn it, I have expertise in this too. It's a 16. I rolled a 6. I'm upset.
Oh, all right. Yes, all right. You make a good point, but I need some assurance that you're not going to cut and run. So here's what we'll do. You'll leave with me something of value to you while you plumb dear Lulu's memories, just to ensure that you don't leave. In exchange, I will provide you the location of Bell's rods, as I assume that is indeed what you seek.
Intriguing.
Now, are you saying a piece of value from each one of us? Or?
I only require one from Charity, since they seem to be your spokesperson in this negotiation. But I expect something of true value, my dear.
Yes.
Mm.
I
I see no reason to delay any longer, so
This is fun. I'm going to leave the clothes and costumes and a lyre that I had,
oh.
and I'm going to leave that. I'm gonna fold it up very nicely and pristinely, place the lyre on top of it, and then hand it over.
And these are things that you absolutely would come back for, come hell or high water.
Those things were the thing that brought me to come into the aid of our dear captain. Those
it.
were the things that got me through
Okay.
life prior to this.
Okay. So she sort of watches as you set them out and just sort of really keeps her eyes on you to sort of judge your reluctance to part with these things, and she seems satisfied, and she says, well, I suppose I can't complain about that, though I'm not sure they'll fit me without alteration, should worst come to worst. At any rate, I only know where one of Bell's rods is for certain, but I'll give you the location of it, and from there, Perhaps you'll pick up their trail. One of his rods...
Now,
tell me,
before
yes.
you begin, is it among a traveling companion? Is it among someone wandering the wastes? Because if you are going to give me that information, it's useless to me.
No, boring old Mahadi doesn't have the rods. Though not an unreasonable guess, my dear. No, this one has found its way into the spawning trees.
Oh,
Should we make checks to see if we know what that is?
Yeah, it'll be a fairly high DC, but I'll take intelligence history checks. Sure, why not?
And let's see if
I will not be taking part in this.
Nope.
No.
I'll go for it.
I rolled relatively low, so I only have a 13.
Okay.
16?
No, neither of you. It doesn't ring any bells to either of you, so it's probably not somewhere you've come across yet in Avernus. So Maggie sort of sees your confusion and says, "Ooh, interesting. Well, how to tell you where to find the spawning trees?"
In a riddle, of course.
Just as a map would be
You
so
could
much simpler,
totally
but
throw that.
Well, I mean, and then I pull Scribbler over and say, the map, please.
Yeah, pull out the map.
okay.
Probably just like, we've got a map. You
Oh.
could just like,
Ask and you shall receive, it seems. Oh, I do love it when that works. So she examines the map. She examines the... Where is my map of Avernus? Here we go. She examines the map for a moment, and then she sort of she takes a long nailed finger, and she sort of places it, let's see, where are they actually? She places it sort of, if you see on your map, and unfortunately I wasn't clever, the map is sort of the background of our overlay, but I didn't put one, I don't have one to just throw up for the viewers to see, so I'll do that for next week. But anyway, if you see sort of just north of where in the bottom left corner where it says Avernus, if you go north, you see some volcanoes, and then north from there, you see some like black lakes and a little tree. She sort of places her fingers right on that, and you can see a little smoke rise up from her finger, and when she takes it away, written in Infernal on that spot on the map, it says spawning trees. And she says, just there, just across the river.
Thank you. Madam, if it also to add to the list of trinkets that you're providing us, you wouldn't happen to have a spyglass, would you?
She says, I'll certainly have Chuck a check, but that's another valuable object you asked for. We may need to renegotiate our terms, but let's only deal with that if I have one that I can part with, yes?
Of course.
Excellent. Chucka!
I love her.
I love her so much.
Go see if the spare spyglass is still in our possession. No, that's mine, the other one.
Reminds me a little too much of my mom. So.
She's everyone's mom right here.
everyone's mom.
She says,
Except
right.
in this situation, I'm definitely Chaka.
She says, right. Well, with all of that settled, should we proceed?
Yes, Lulu. Question, are you comfortable with us helping you get your memories back? And I look over at Scribbler.
She, when you speak directly to her, you can see she shivers a little bit, and she looks a little nervous or uncomfortable. So she sort of flies a little bit closer to Scribbler, and she says, yes, of course, it would be so lovely for you to help me. And when I get my memories back, maybe I'll remember how I got here and how to get home.
I will be glad to help you with your memories.
Oh.
It will help me to answer a question that I've been pondering for quite some time.
Oh, if I could help you while you help me, that would be the best of deals, wouldn't it?
Indeed.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck. That's all. So Maggie says, excellent. It will take me just a few minutes to prepare. If you all would wait here while I gather some supplies.
Oh, of course.
Very much so. And I will take a seat in the bone chair.
So she sort of walks out, and you all are left. Mickey's still there, sort of doing his little hopping dance, moaning occasionally. But other than that, it's just the 5 of you in the building at this point.
So, something that the rest of you may not know about where I come from, and where Imba comes from.
Yes.
Angels are not unusual there.
No, not at all.
One of the political factions is actually led by an angel. I have dealt with angels. Demons and devils are also not unusual. They are political entities. They are not confined to other realms. I have questions about the changing of angelic nature that I've had since my schooling days. So this does actually play into that question. As I understand it, angels are by nature good and ordered creatures. But every once in a while they change, and I have long wondered why.
This does pose an interesting question, too. I mean, what is good and what is evil, really, especially to an angel? What they consider could be good in their actions could be evil for someone else. As something is the nature down here. Also, what one down here could be considered evil to us is probably beneficial or helping out the masses elsewhere.
Exhibit A.
Right.
Yes, Maggie, question. She does have good intentions to helping out this delightful child.
Yeah.
No.
No, I would group on
Well, good intentions for herself, but not good intentions for the rest of the
Look,
She
honestly,
wants
10 out of 10. I reckon we go in there, we're going to get Lulu's memories back. Lulu is going to realize something and nuke this entire joint.
Oh, I definitely am. I'm 100% on you agreeing with that.
She's going to nuke this place.
I was gonna say,
I got our information when I did.
Yes.
We need to have some insurance.
Imba,
Yeah.
what do you feel about this? Because I would like to know your technical expertise and how we can get out of this alive.
so I'm more into the mechanical, figuring out how things work. The brain is a little bit more organic. But I wasn't born yesterday. My concern.
It was 3 days ago.
But I'm not a total idiot, so.
My concern is we find something that delightful little creature won't be the same creature once we're done. There are some memories. A bit painful. They can, I didn't get this cookie. Just because, actually, I kind of, blew myself to smithereens, but that's on me, nothing too tragic. It's fine. I'm here. Hey, you don't get to be this old without knowing what you're doing when you're a goblin, But yeah, my concern is, what are we going to find, and how is it going to change that delightful little thing?
Scribbler notes down. Was aware of her actions.
You all make very good points here. Especially Imba. We're going to find something in Lulu's mind, and it will change them right off the bat. Also, and I lean in, are we certain we should be talking about this with large boy over there?
You look over and he's still just hopping.
Do you imagine that there is any place on this entire plane where we are completely free from observation?
This is fair. Now,
I'm being spoken to directly into my brain. You can.
Yeah.
This is
You
fair.
cannot worry about that anymore.
This is a solid
fair.
point.
Solid points all around.
At this point, Maggie and Lulu re-enter. And Maggie has sort of a big, like, burlap-looking sack that looks heavily laden with stuff. And Lulu is looking rather excited and goes to sort of flies over and begins to sort of hover in between Evie and Scribbler, where she definitely seems to be the most comfortable. And Maggie sort of says, right, well, let's prepare things, shall we? And she reaches into her pack and pulls out a rather large vial of what you hope isn't, but most likely is blood. And she begins to pour it out onto the ground and form a sort of arcane circle. And once the circle is complete, she actually takes well, again, the bar is low, but she takes some of the more comfortable looking cushions that she has in this room and sort of arranges them in the center and tells Lulu, now, my dear, just have a seat here. And Lulu sort of trepidatiously makes her way to the center and seats herself there in the middle of the circle. Maggie then reaches into the pouch again and pulls out 2 skulls that she places on opposite sides of the circle facing Lulu. And she sort of, as she places the second one, she looks up at you all and says, ooh, I'm sure my sisters won't mind if I pick their brains a bit about this problem.
Go right ahead.
Yes, Charity? Oh, we got the Picard again.
Good pun. Good pun.
Yes, thank you.
Very good.
Having fun.
So Lulu is there in the center, and Maggie says, now, all of you, take up positions around the circle. Be careful of my sisters, but stand upon the circle if you would. Take hands. Take hands, yes.
I just want this to go on the record that this is going to go terribly.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I agree. And
I hold the captain's hand, and then I reach down and grab Imba's.
I hold Charity's hand and I reach up to hold Evie's.
Yeah.
This is the most... We couldn't have picked a worse order. I love it.
Absolutely.
So she says, now, close your eyes, all of you. This will take about 10 minutes or so. Keep your eyes closed. You'll all be joined in a telepathic bond once the ritual begins. Don't leave the circle. Leave the circle. It will be interrupted and we'll have to start again, and you don't want that. Now, close your eyes. Yes, that's good. Yes.
I do actually allow the telepathic bond to form.
I don't think she clocked the is it a ring? No, what is it that you have?
Yeah,
the ring.
I have a
right?
ring. Yeah, I have the ring.
Yeah, I don't think she clocked it.
Yeah.
So she begins to chant in a sort of ancient infernal tongue, and slowly, after a few moments, you all begin to hear whispers and voices. Nothing clear enough to make out words yet, but just whispers, presences at the edge of your awareness. And after several minutes of stillness and these whispers, just when it feels like you have to itch your brain if they don't stop, you sense, with your eyes still closed, a brilliant flash of light. And then there is darkness. And that's where we're going to take our little break before we come back and dive into Lulu's mind. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. The break is a little bit later than I try and make it, but I wanted to get to that point in the story before we broke. So, have a good break. Everybody go get some more coffee if it's morning, or a drink if it's night, and some water, because hydration is important. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes, probably. We will see you so soon. Thanks, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you got coffee, booze, water, all of the things, whatever you need. Welcome back to Saturday Morning D&D in Hell, Descent into Avernus. Our party has just hung out with Mad Maggie the Warlord for a while, and are now diving into this beautiful Hollyphant that you see on your screens, memories to try and peel back at least some of her amnesia. And so you are all currently, and we're jumping right back in, here we go. You are all currently in this ritual circle, eyes closed, hearing whispers on the edges of your mind. You just saw a bright flash of light and then darkness, and suddenly you are all connected telepathically. So as you realize this, what is the first thing that everyone else hears coming from you when the link is established? Imba, let's start with you.
Do I want to paint my bike to match the bluebird, or do I want it to be green? I really don't know.
Focused on the task at hand, as we would expect. Love it. Evie, how about you? What's your thought that we hear right away?
I was a sad head on the wall. That was definitely a third head on the wall. That should bother me more than it does.
Yes.
I wonder if it was another cousin or not.
That feels like something we should explore, why it doesn't quite bother you so much. I love it. Captain.
I really liked this bone chair better than this. Why didn't she let us stay in the bone chairs instead of these cushions?
We're so focused on the issue at hand, and I'm obsessed. Charity.
In order to get through the standing, Captain, you would realize that this is a little song that Charity would play on the ship a lot. It's just this like low just thrum of the lyre playing, and you all now hear this little melody going through that has been on repeat in their head the entire time, because standing for this long is killing them.
Love it.
Yeah.
Scribbler.
Scribbler's thinking certain informal discussions took place involving a full and frank exchange of views, out of which there arose a series of proposals, which on examination proved to indicate certain promising lines of inquiry, which, that's his brain.
I said Scribbler's brain, not mine.
And all of a sudden hears Captain Juice go,
Or just goes sour and is like,
Yes.
I love it. As all of that sort of happens, you do also get a stray thought from Lulu before everyone sort of realizes what's happening and sighs at Scribbler's roll of thoughts. But Lulu is thinking. Okay, it's gonna be okay, Lulu. They're here to help you, and they're not all perfect, but if they're helping you, then they're doing a good deed, and that's what should count, right?
And when I hear that, I stop, look at Lulu, and says, I will do my best to help you.
Thank you. I appreciate all of your help. And you hear Maggie's voice in your head say, all right, well, that was lovely, but let's get on with it, shall we? And it sounds like she has clapped her hands right in your heads. And you see a flash of rainbow light sort of just ripple across your mind's eye, and color and light begins to return to your vision, but your eyes are still closed. But what you see is a sort of dreamscape, and as the rich and radiant light of 100 dancing rainbows sort of begins to take shape around you, warm sunlight, something that you haven't really been able to appreciate since you arrived here in Avernus, fills the area. And you can see within the space, Lulu is sort of flying lazily in a lush meadow. And she is flying at the shoulder of a beautiful blindfolded angel. And the pair of them is strolling through tall green grass. And you all react in different ways, but it is certainly a change of venue from what you've been experiencing for a long time. So as you react to that physically and mentally, sort of somewhat jarringly, Maggie's voice fills your mind, each of your minds, and says, push through this vision. It only represents what Lulu wishes was true. We need to see more. And so I need each of you that desires to try and do as Maggie instructs to make intelligence saving throws, please.
Sure.
Can I actively oppose that?
Sure. I will have you do the same thing, but I will know that it is to oppose the moving on.
Okay.
I'm gonna just roll on my own because I am having a problem now with doing this.
Okay.
It's like Charity's like, oh, what on earth? Why is this the first place that this went?
Okay.
And I have advantage on intelligence saving
Of course
throws.
you do. All right, so let's...
I rolled a 3.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so a 3 from Evie.
It doesn't matter.
Amazing. Imba.
13.
Okay, that, and you are not. You're just going with it, right? You're doing what Maggie said.
I was just kind of gonna go with it. Like I look
Yeah.
a little bit like,
Totally.
but I still do it.
Captain Julius, Charity. Sorry, I need to track these. Imba, Evie, and Scribbler. Okay. Perfect. So, Charity, what'd you get? Oh, what are you doing, Charity?
Charity has decided to push through because that is what is going to lead them to what they want.
Okay, and what'd you get on your intelligence save?
It was a 5.
Okay, well, Charity's not going to push through then. Captain Julius.
He's going to push through.
Okay.
Because he does feel that it's very odd that this is the first thing that they see, but he genuinely wants to help Lulu out, so he pushes through, and I got an 18.
An 18, okay. And Scribbler, you are trying to keep everything here. Oops. So what did you get on your intelligence saving throw?
Despite having advantage, I only got a 13.
Okay. So... all right. So the dream begins to... this dream begins to fade somewhat as a few of your party are able to do as Maggie asks and push forward. But Scribbler, your opposition slows things down just a bit, enough that you all have a few moments to interact with this dream if you so desire.
I actually ask Lulu, when is this? Where is this?
So the Lulu that answers is not the Lulu that you see in front of you, flying with the angel. Much like with Maggie, you just hear Lulu's voice. And Lulu says, "Oh, I don't remember, but I wish I was there. I miss her. I don't know who she is, but I miss her. I think Maggie might be right. This doesn't feel like a memory, but I wish it was."
And Charity is just longing on this scene because they're trying to get as much of a grasp as to what this is so that they can perhaps turn it into a composition.
Hey, Scribbler, why don't you make me an intelligence investigation check?
Sure.
Just to see what you can sort of puzzle out on your own now that you've sort of heard from Maggie and Lulu.
That's much better. 25.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So as you sort of look more closely at the details, there are certain things that do feel inconsistent or unreal, and you having powers over the mind and memories like you do, like, that's not unusual, right? Memories aren't perfect, and we don't remember things exactly as they occurred. But this, in fact, now that you're looking more closely at some of the details, doesn't quite have the ring of a true memory, but more sort of a dream, right? A concoction of the mind.
Okay. I say, Lulu, I want you to hold on to this image, but it is an illusion. but maybe an illusion you want. But we need to move forward.
She's very sadly says, "Oh, yes, yeah. Oh, okay. You're right. You're right. It'll be better. So I'll hold this close and let's go." And the dream begins to fade around you, the rainbows sort of in reverse, sort of contracting in on themselves as the meadow fades from all of your psychic views. Next, the rainbows begin to reappear, but at this point, all of the cooler, the smaller wavelength, the cooler colors of the spectrum almost immediately wink out, and you're left with reds and oranges and yellows, and these lights of this rainbow turn into flames, and you find yourself on a flame-encircled battlefield in a barren hellscape that looks very much like, pretty much any place you could point to here on Avernus. At the center of this flame-encircled area, you see Lulu and that same angel from the previous dream, both of them lying on the ground unconscious and horribly injured, the two of them. You see that the five of you are sort of arrayed in a small circle around Lulu and the angel as if defending them, and facing outward you can see 6 small spine-covered devils creeping in closer, eyes locked on the unconscious prizes at the center of you all. In the distance you can see a formation of battered and retreating what look like human warriors running from this battlefield and disappearing through a portal not far from where you are. And you hear Maggie's voice, and she says, the devils. You must defeat those devils. And we will now roll initiative.
Oh, boy.
Oh, snap!
Oh, snap.
Oh.
We have to fight memory devils.
Okie dokie.
You know, standard stuff.
Yeah.
Question before initiative begins.
Yeah, of course.
Does that angel look the same as the vision?
It does. It looks like the same angel, though she does not look the same. She looks pretty battered now, but it is the same blindfolded. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We don't get a chance to do anything before it's like in combat.
Like what?
Oh, as soon as I was in somewhere dangerous, I was gonna activate one of my runes.
This is bonus action, yeah.
Yeah.
Then yes, I'll bonus action. I will.
As soon as I was like, oh, this is a bad place.
Sure. Yeah, I'll.
a bad place.
The frost rune.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
So I'm invoking the frost rune, and
okay.
Nothing really seems to happen, but you get a sense that Evie might be a little bit stronger.
Sure. Captain, what is your initiative?
25.
20. Holy.
Right.
Swashbuckler Rogue.
Yeah. Scribbler.
5.
Charity.
15.
All right. Imba.
9.
9. Okay. And Evie.
4.
Oh.
That's a natty 1.
Yikes, I love it. Okay, the devils go on 21, so Captain, you hear Maggie in your head say, you must defeat the devils. And it is your turn.
Okay, well, I will, since she's saying we must defeat these devils, I will run up to one of these devils.
Excellent.
And pull out my my rapier.
Okay.
With a flourish, and I go to stab one of these devils in the chest.
All right, do it.
Ooh, that is an 11.
An 11. You manage to make contact, but your rapier gets sort of turned aside by the spines of this small devil, and so you don't manage to penetrate.
All right. Well, I will then use my fancy footwork, and I will disengage and move back over to everyone else. Like, what do you guys got?
Excellent. We will very soon see what what everybody's got. But before that, the spine devils, who are all they're sort of on the ground, crouched, and they all wing at the same time. They flap their wings, take flight, and converge upon all of you. Let's see. That's not true. 3 of the devils are going to take flight and converge on you. 3 of them are going to stay back. So the 3 of them are going to attempt to bite you all. One of them is definitely going to go for the captain, and it's the same one that you just tried to attack. Because,
wonderful.
You know, turnabout is fair play. So it's going to try and bite you first. That's a 14 to hit.
That is on the button.
Okay. So it does manage to bite into you and do 5 slashing damage as its teeth sort of tear a little bit out of your forearm, the forearm that's holding the rapier. It then reaches on its back where you saw something sort of poking out from behind it and pulls out what looks like a long sort of wicked pitchfork, and it stabs that in your direction as well, but that's only a 6 to hit, so it goes wide as you turn and yank your arm out of the devil's mouth. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see who these other 2 are going to go for. One of them's going to go for Charity, and one's going to go for Scribbler. So Charity, same thing with you, a bite and a fork. That's a 12 to hit with the bite. All right, and a 4 to hit with the fork. So this one just comes in hot, but completely misses. Hey. Oh, thanks for the follow. It's a Von Trap. I love that name. All right, and finally, the Spine Devil that goes over towards Scribbler. Does a 12 hit you, Scribbler?
I will cast Shield.
Okay, so as this one comes in with its mouth agape, trying to clamp down on your shoulder, what is it? Shield is one of my favorite spells to get somatic components from people out of, or to see what it looks like, because I had a drow once that just said no, and that was... So what is yours?
Simply in Celestial, stop.
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
And it does. It almost looks for a brief moment like maybe you cast Hold Monster or something, because as this devil goes to bite on you, it just like runs into a wall of sorts and is sort of stunned into stillness for a brief moment.
Visually, it looks like the Azorius symbol forms.
Oh, I love that.
As his hand, points to where he's being attacked.
Yeah, and the devil sort of scrabbles at this sigil that has formed in the air, but is unable to get through it. The other 3 devils fly up a little bit higher so that they're sort of above all of you on sort of melee plane, and they turn, and you see their tails are covered in spikes, and all 3 of them fire spikes down upon you all, raining them down. I totally lied about something earlier, but we'll deal with it later. Okay. So let's see. We're gonna get a couple of spines towards Imba. Imba, does a 19 hit you?
Yes.
How about a 13?
No.
Okay. So one of the spikes connects with you, and it ouch. And it sticks into you for a total of 12 damage. But what you notice, and Captain, what you also notice about this pain that you experience is that despite the fact that this devil very clearly took a chunk out of your forearm, Julius, and that you just got shot with a spike in your chest, Imba, all of this, it doesn't actually seem to damage your physical body, but you feel a terrible sort of mental pain, and all of this is psychic damage that you all are taking right now, which I forgot about in the first place. All right, Evie, a couple of spikes come towards you. Non-natural 20s on both of them.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right. So that's gonna be gods above. All right, so that's 12 damage from one of the spikes and 8 from the other, for a total of 20.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
And we have one more. We have one more Spine Devil that's going to fire one spike at Charity and one spike at Scribbler. So Charity, that's a 6 to hit you, and Scribbler does a 14 hit you.
14 does not. The shield is until the end of the turn.
All right,
15.
So the Azorius sigil sort of moves over and blocks this spine from hitting you as well, and it clatters to the ground. And that is the Spined Devil's turn, which means that next up is Charity. Imba is on deck.
The only 2 people who weren't hit that turn were the 2 of us. I'm gonna, because I already have the sword out, I never put it back into the extra plane.
Sure.
I'm going to use Branding Smite.
Woo.
Nice.
With my my legacy. I'm going to look at one of the devils in front of the captain.
Mm-hmm.
And with my bonus action, the verbal component for this is cease and desist. And I'm just gonna run up and whack.
All right. Do the thing.
Oh, I will apparently not do the thing.
Oh,
I
no.
rolled a 2.
Ooh. So
Plus
it's
7,
very
yeah,
dramatic, but because of the very dramatic battle cry, the devil sees you coming and sort of swings to the side. And with a 2, Captain Julius also has to swing to the side. All right. Anything else on your turn, Charity?
That was action, bonus action,
Okay.
and I'm going to move so that I circle around the devil.
Okay.
That I guess I should have done in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
about it.
All right. So Imba, you are up and Scribbler's on deck.
All right. So I really don't like that. Oh, that's very rude. And the machine, the backpack on
boy.
Imba's back starts whirring.
Oh boy.
And you see like little sparks of lightning start going between the 2 rods. And the glass capsule starts going through all sorts of these different colors. And I hold out that kind of gauntlet. And I'm going to cast Chaos Bolt as a 2nd level spell, but I have it prepared. So it's not through the Mizzet apparatus.
Okay, that's
It's-
good.
I love Chaos Grandma.
Okay.
I
Grandma.
love Chaos Grandma.
Okay, so that is a ranged spell attack, and I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna attack the one that hit me with the spike from further away.
From above. Okay, got it.
That will be a. Hold on a second. Where is it at? A non-natural 20.
Oh, that'll do for sure. All right, so you're going to roll
Okay.
2d8 and 2d6 and pick one of your
Mhm.
d8s to be the damage type, although it's going to end up all being psychic anyway. But
All
it'll change
right.
what it looks like.
Let's see. I rolled a 7, which is psychic, actually.
Oh, well, that's good.
So go ahead and roll damage.
All right.
And something happens if I roll the same number on both d8s.
That is correct.
Okay, I did not.
Okay.
But that will be 16. 24 psychic damage.
Bloody hell. All right, 24?
Yeah, 24.
So you blast this spine devil out of the sky. Just bits of it sort of rain down. Spikes are raining down. Now, she wasn't directly above you all, so none of you are going to get hit by them. But this thing is just reduced to nothing in the air from this chaos bolt.
Which, by the way, like, it was so powerful. Like, she kind of like gets knocked back a little bit.
Yes.
Yes.
Shotgun recoil.
I love it. All right. Scribbler, you are up. I'm sorry, was that it, Imba, for your not that wasn't enough. But...
I believe I don't believe I have a bonus action to use here.
All right.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
All
That's
right.
my
So
turn.
Scribbler, you are up. Evie's on deck.
All right. I will turn my focus on the devil that attacked me for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Using my bonus action, faithful naming,
Oh, right.
or extract name rather.
Right. Let's see. Wisdom save, right?
Yep.
That is a non-natural 20.
Okay. Well, I was curious how that would have played out if it had worked, because
Me too. I was sort of hoping I'd fail.
I was like, I really hope he fails, because I kind of want to know if I get Lulu's name or the actual devil's name.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Should it work later? We'll find out.
Yeah. We have other opportunities.
We do. We have lots of them.
That said, with my action, I'm going to cast a free casting of Bless.
Yes.
turning to Evangeline Flint and saying, Evangeline Flint, your fate has changed.
Ooh.
Bless.
Yes.
And centered on
Appreciate
her,
it.
picking up me and Imba.
Got it. All right, so Imba, Evie, and Scribbler plus D4s on your attacks and saves. Excellent. Anything else on your turn, Scribbler?
No.
We hop to Evie, Captain's on deck.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Question.
Tell me.
How high off the ground? Okay. If I were theoretically size large,
Uh-huh.
would I be able to melee attack the ones that are flying? How high off the ground are they?
I think you might actually, because they're only about 15 feet up, because the range on their tail spines is only about 20 feet. So actually, I think you might. Because
Great,
what?
cool.
How tall are you normally?
I mean, pretty bloody tall, like nearly 6 feet.
Yeah, I'm gonna say sure. Why not? Because I sort of love that.
Yeah, okay. Then as Evie kind of strides towards the ones that are in the air, she's calmly striding towards them. She's muttering something under her breath in language in Giant, and one of the runes on her sword begins to glow, and she becomes size large.
Yes.
She grows, expands.
Yes.
And is just gonna take a swipe at one of these devils in the
Do it.
sky.
Do it. I love it.
That was my bonus action. So,
Yes.
and because I'm size large, okay. So that is a 21 to hit
That'll do.
because I got a +9 on that now.
Goo.
Yeah, look at you.
That'll do.
Right, 2d6 plus.
What am I doing here?
Yeah. Ooh.
It went well.
And I'm gonna do some math now. 15 damage.
15. Okay.
15.
Mm-hmm. You do not quite chop it out of the sky, but it's looking rough.
That's fine. I'll hit it again.
Yeah, you should do
I'm
that.
gonna do it again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it again.
Fighters.
Chop, chop.
And that is a 19 to hit
That'll do.
because I got a +9. $14 damage.
Okay, so this one, and what is your weapon? You have a long sword? No, what do you have?
A great sword.
Great sword.
I
That's
have
it.
a
So tell me what this dispatch of this devil looks like.
yeah. It's like the first, because it all kind of happens at once where she's just calmly striding forward, grows in size, nearly doubles in size,
Gah.
takes a swipe that cuts a chunk out of this devil, brings the sword back around, and just absolutely eviscerates it,
Yeah.
all in the space of a couple of steps.
Yep. And so more spines and now devil bits fall to the ground, and Evie is triumphant. All right, so we have one more devil flying in the sky still, and 3 of them still surrounding you on the ground. Let's see. We are at the top of the round, which means Captain Julius, you are up.
Okay. Oh, I rolled a 19.
Great. To
dice.
do what?
Up to attack because
Great.
in front of me. But because I am a level 3 fighter, I have improved critical.
Oh yeah. All right.
Nice.
That's a crit.
So yeah. So I go to attack, and is Charity is right?
As I understand, you circled but stayed next to, so yes, you will get
Okay,
your
so
sneak attack.
Nice.
Blessed
all right.
be, that's so many dice.
That is gonna be
That's
Five,
critical
six,
sneak attack.
8d6 plus 2d8. Gotta love that.
Yeah.
I love me some good sneak attack.
I do love that, and I
Yes.
don't wish ill on you, but I also really would love for this critical to be like devastating, but not quite kill it, because I think it'd be funny.
Okay, yeah. So this is. Oh, let me roll what happens then.
Yeah,
So
roll your dice. Let's see.
you want me to roll double the dice? So how many d8 am I rolling?
So 8d6 and 2d8, because
Okay.
you're using a rapier, right?
Yes.
great. And seventh level is 4d6 sneak attack. So yeah.
Well, because I only have 2d6 of sneak attack because I'm level 4.
Oh, that's right. So in that case, 4d6 and 2d8. Good call. No, it is less improbable that you don't kill it then.
So that's 28 points of damage.
Dead.
But in that case, tell me how you dispatch this thing.
So I lean back from when Charity went to smash into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the sword. I'm like, Charity, thank you for the help, but I think I may have this. And I do this sweeping move as I lean underneath the attack, and I stab the rapier through the chest of the spine demon, and I pull it out. And because of fancy footwork, I get to do a free disengage. I roll over the back of the spine demon and do a little flourish backwards, and I do a little bow, and I look up at the next spine demon. I'm like, come on, let's go.
And as you look up, the devils, also don't let them hear you calling them demons.
Yes.
The devils sort of snarl and move to sort of converge upon you, Captain Julius. But as they take a single step, the rainbows reverse again and begin to unfurl this dream. And just as they look like they're about to connect with you, Captain Julius, they vanish into a puff of light and darkness. And the dream is gone. And as the rainbows roll out again, as you move deeper into Lulu's memory, you see a landscape filled with thick black smoke and the smells of death and decay expanding to encompass everything around you. Those three small devils that were making their way towards you, Julius, just now, the scene has changed a bit, and the five of you sort of stand in a line, and in front of you, those three small devils kneel before you, and in hissing voices, which those of you who speak Infernal hear in Infernal, but if you don't, you hear in a language that you do speak. Each of them in unison says, "We will serve you if you spare us."
Why'd they speak in Orc?
I'm so mad.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
Yes,
Evie,
yes,
remind me to explain that to you later.
Gosh.
Charity just brandishes their sword, flips it, puts it to the ground.
Puts it to the ground? Did you say to the ground or into the devil?
Into the ground.
Okay, great. That's what I thought you said. I just wanted to be sure. They just sit there with their heads bowed, waiting for your decision.
Ready
They're
to
in a line.
attack.
I could totally get all of them at once.
I think we have to play out the memories.
This is a memory.
Is Zerial still lying on the ground behind us? Or the angel that I think is Zerial?
Right. Zerial is nowhere. Zerial and Lulu both are nowhere to be seen at the moment.
The Charity will say, "You will bow to me, and me alone."
I'm gonna need the opinions of the rest of the group as well, but sure.
I look at this. I see that these
heads.
Because we were told to kill these devils, but suddenly this is happening. This is very odd. But I take my sword and I do a little flourish with it and I slide it back into my belt.
I
avoid fight.
I am going to ask, can I, with my knowledge of Arcana and maybe, or possibly insight, tell if this is actually a trick or if this actually will help us in this with our goal?
I'll take a wisdom insight. I think makes sense.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Let's do an intelligence insight.
Intelligence?
We'll mix the two.
We heard Maggie's voice in our head earlier, didn't we?
You did. You did not hear it when this stream reformed. It's the first time that a memory or a dream has formed that she didn't give you instructions right away. Go ahead, Scribbler.
So insights. Okay. 22.
Okay, so two things. One, this does feel like a memory. So you assume that at least Lulu, if not Lulu and the angel, were actually present for this, even though they're not currently visible. The second thing is that obviously you all do have some leeway to affect how things go. These aren't just pure memories that you can't influence. So you do think that accepting their offer might be useful down the road. But obviously there are, other concerns to be considered when agreeing to allow devils to become your allies, but that's up to you all. But yeah, you do get the sense, Scribbler, that your choice here may have repercussions as you continue to delve deeper into Lulu's memories.
Okay. Whose turn is it? Just so that I'm not speaking out of turn.
Oh no, go right ahead. We're out of turn order at this point.
Okay. Flee.
Charity just looks over.
All right. So for all intents and purposes, we've got two votes for help us and one vote for go the fuck away.
Well, I am more like, it's less of just you helping us. Just stop fighting us.
Okay, well they offered to, so
Yeah.
they said spare us and we'll serve you. So
I suppose.
Scribbler's not so interested in that. Charity is. Evie, thoughts and feelings?
Kind of want to cut their heads off, but we'll defer to the group. Evie is still large. Evie is large for 10 minutes.
Absolutely. How about you, Imba?
Yeah.
What are you feeling? What are you thinking?
I kind of just want to get on with it. They might get in the way later, but I mean, we just want to move on.
So not into them becoming your loyal vassals?
No.
Y'all don't want a piece? Okay.
I really don't. As long as we get the
not
job
really.
done.
Okay.
This
All right.
is literally what I'm looking for.
So majority opinion is that we don't want these devils to help us, and so the devils sort of look up to you all and hiss angrily, and then begin to fade away into rainbows as this whole scene fades away around you as well.
I see Charity going, no, wait.
Oh, so close. Oh, so close. So the scene fades once again. The rainbows go in reverse, and we fade to black. Scribbler, since that insight check was fairly good earlier, I will say also that you got a sense as the memory ended that there was some sort of a dissonance in what happened, and you get the sense that y'all's choice was not the choice that was made when in the real memory.
Yeah.
And as you realize that, the rainbows spread again, and you find yourselves wandering a vast, barren landscape of utter devastation. Black sludge rises rapidly out of the ground, enveloping your feet and gripping you tightly, overwhelming you with a horrible sense of loss. And Maggie's voice comes back and says, "Oh, well, that was strange. I lost you all for a moment there, but you're back. Be careful. Don't let the sludge consume you. It is Lulu's defenses. You must push through them. She must see the truth. She must look." So you all find yourselves restrained by this black sludge, and it is slowly sort of pulling you down into it.
Oh,
I'm gonna
I
pick up
would like to
Imbra.
vertically inspire.
Okay, great. Let me real quick jump to Evie.
Pick up Amber.
Okay.
Pick her up.
yeah.
So I love that everyone's like, protect Granny.
Yeah. 100%.
I love it.
Pick up Amber. Push forward.
Okay, so let's start with that. So Evie, make me I'm assuming your strength athletics is better than your dexterity acrobatics, so make me a strength athletics
It's
check.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially since I've got advantage at the moment. Being
Right,
Lord.
'cause you still
Size
big.
large.
Yes.
I'm Lord.
Honestly, you can probably just pick up Imba with one hand, like,
Yeah,
because I'm size small.
just
I suddenly
hoist you out
realized-
of the mug.
To see Evie turn into a giant woman.
You suddenly realize what, Scribbler?
There's something I haven't been doing.
Oh,
Um,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I have on Arcana and history checks. I think I have I get to roll an extra D4 when I make those checks.
Oh.
Just by being who I am.
Just by being me. So Evie, what was your check?
25.
Okay. So that is enough for you to grab Imba and pull the two of you together out of the muck and onto some dry ground. Now, Charity, as you were going to inspire Imba, you saw giant Evie just grab her and help her out. So what would you like to do?
I was actually going to inspire Evie so that Evie could try and help us out. And I'm like, all right, well.
Evie's got it covered, so.
And I'm going to try and wriggle my way.
Try and wriggle your way out? Okay, so I'll
Yeah.
take either strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics, whatever's better from you.
Let's go with acrobatics.
All right.
That's horrible. That's a 10.
Okay, so you're unable to sort of pull your arms out to get really good leverage to help yourself out.
And then in the meantime, then I'll inspire Captain Julius.
All right, give me 1 second.
Like sinking and singing at the same time.
Okay.
Oh. This might as well happen.
All right, Julius and Scribbler, the two of you, what are you all doing?
All right, so how much is my inspiration?
1d6.
Okay.
Yes.
I am going to, I see all the muck rising up around me. I'm going to try to wriggle my way
Right.
out.
Take a strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics.
Okay.
I
will be using my, no, I'm not going to use that. I'm actually going to use my luck along with this.
Okay.
It's a little better. That'll be an 18.
And 18 is enough to wriggle your way out of the muck and get up onto dry ground with Evie and Imba. And last but not least, Scribbler.
I am.
Can I go back and get him?
This is all sort of happening at the same time, so he's gonna have one attempt on his own first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's screwed. Let's see how screwed he is.
Okay.
I rolled a 10.
Oh, okay. It's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Just can't get enough leverage to really get out. So we are left with Charity and Scribbler still in the muck. Those of you on dry ground can try and help them out and grant them advantage on their checks.
Can I pull one of my 50-foot rope out?
So what all of the, you can flavor it how you like, but what you'll be doing is giving them the help, doing the help action to grant them advantage. Yeah. If you try to go back in to like bodily take Scribbler out, what you're gonna find is that the muck and the sludge is actually to you completely solid. You can actually walk across it, but you can't really get into it. So you'll be able to assist.
Oh, okay. So I can't actually. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to use the rope. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to walk over to Scribbler and kind of grab him under the arms and start trying to haul him
Try
out.
and hoist. Okay, I love it.
I'm definitely going to like take my rope and throw it out to Charity.
Okay, great.
And try to help pull them back up.
So Charity and Scribbler, as the two of you try again with this assistance to get out of this muck, you can feel that this sort of despair and loss begins to sort of seep into your mind and your heart as you are pulled down into this muck. So the two of you can make your checks again, this time with advantage.
I knew you were a stick in the mud, but this is ridiculous.
Boo.
That's a 17.
Okay, that is enough. So you grab onto that rope and you just arm over arm manage to tear yourself from the muck. Scribbler.
13.
Sorry? Was that 13?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm good at some very particular things. This is one of them.
Could that little bit of flavoring count as my bonus action to inspire Scribbler?
Ooh.
Oh. Yes, I will take that. So as you get out, you see Scribbler struggling, and you encourage Scribbler. So Scribbler, you've got a D6 if you want to add that to that check.
5, so
Okay.
13.
So it doesn't look like you're going to be able to get out this time. This despair and loss is just weighing you down. But as you, Charity, what is your inspiration? Is it kind words, or how do you do it?
No. Oh, sorry.
No, it was. I knew you were a stick in the mud, but man, this is ridiculous.
I was adding the die of 5 to the existing roll. Was I supposed to roll again?
No. Add it to the existing is fine.
That makes it 18.
Yes. So it doesn't look like it's going great, but then you hear Charity encourage you, and perhaps against your better judgment, it does bolster you just enough to be able to grab on to Evie, who's hoisting you up, and pull yourself up and out of the muck. And you all are able to get out, and as you do, the rainbows reappear, and this memory dissipates, and yet another begins to roll out. Lulu, in this memory, rests on a black cushion at the center of an inky void. She is unconscious and alone, and a brilliant beam of white light shines down upon her. Next to Lulu, a large, gleaming brass spyglass rests atop an ornately carved tripod. As you watch, Lulu awakens and sort of very calmly and peacefully looks around her. Where are my notes? Here we go. Very sort of calmly and serenely looks around her. She looks towards you all, but doesn't seem to see you all, at least not immediately. And she goes over, she notices the spyglass. That does seem to be something that she sees. And she goes over to it and presses one eye against this brass spyglass. And you hear her gasp. And very quietly, you hear her say, "The sword." And rather suddenly, all of you are snapped out of this memory and back into the circle in Mad Maggie's hut. And Lulu is flying up from the pillows in the center of the circle and sort of excitedly sort of flying in circles. Maggie has her eyes closed with just an enormous, contented smile on her face. And you all are conscious again in the material world.
Okay.
I'm not big anymore.
You are not big anymore.
I put my hand on
Boo.
Evie's arm. You're big in my heart, Evie.
Oh.
That's what matters.
Interesting.
I kind of glance over at Charity in like a little like.
Charity looks over at Maggie. So we've completed our end of the bargain.
She sort of shakes herself out of her contented reverie, and one eye focuses on you, but the other is sort of still rolled up and like seeming to be very blissfully unaware of what's happening. But one of her eyes is focused on you.
So the spyglass that we are in dealings with now has become somewhat a point of contention for me. It does not... Might we see both of them that are in your possession? As you have stated, you have multiple.
She sort of, it takes her a minute to figure out what you're talking about, because she's just really basking in whatever she experienced, she really enjoyed. And she says, yes, where is Chaka! And Chaka comes wandering in and waddles up to Maggie and sort of whispers something into her ear, and she sort of gives him a swift kick out the door after that. And she says, well, it seems that Chaka and Clonk have cannibalized my second spyglass for their own experiments. I'll have a chat with them about that. You're welcome to see my current one, but you may not have it. Also, let's see. Let me do a quick inside check. Nope. Okay. She doesn't know why you want to see the spyglass. So she goes off to a corner and pulls out a spyglass and brings it out. And no, it is not the one in the memory.
Cool.
Cool.
She says, so unfortunately I won't be able to provide that for you, but goodness, you all have done so much better than I ever expected.
Did you obtain the information you wanted?
That and so much more, my dears. I can't thank you enough.
See.
Well, if you cannot thank us enough, perhaps with that we will take our earnings and a moment of hospitality on your end, if we should be so kind. We might all require a rest, if that is all right.
Oh,
just a mere few hours of your time.
Don't see any reason why not. You're welcome to partake in my beautiful hospitality.
We gotta set a watch.
Fantastic. And she, at this point, Chaka has brought in all the provisions and whatever that you all requested to, so that's all there ready for the taking. Sorry, what was that, Scribbler?
Is Lulu staying in the room with us?
Lulu actually, Lulu has been strangely quiet. Like, she's clearly very excited, but she hasn't really said much since you all came out of the dream.
Lulu, are you all right?
Oh yes. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm very good. I'm very, very good.
Were we able to help?
So much, yes. At this point, Maggie is just going to take her leave and say, well, I'll leave you all to get settled. You're welcome to stay in here. I'll be around should you need me. Come, Mickey. And she and the flesh golem leave the room, so you're left alone with Lulu.
On Mickey's person, I'm just gonna just because I see that he's hobbling weird, is there any reason as to why he's hobbling?
Make me a wisdom insight check.
I think I have expertise in that. Oh, that's not bad. I do have expertise in that. That's a dirty 20.
All right. You realize that as Mickey is leaving, you sort of put two and two together and you look, and it seems like there's something stuck in Mickey's foot that is causing it to be rather painful for him to put weight on it. It's that simple, really.
You gotta take the powder.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop her on the way out and be like, oh, could I just see him for a second?
Mickey, I suppose.
Will he harm me?
No, of course, unless I tell him to, but you've been so helpful, I think I'll not.
Well, I do appreciate generosity. That is all. Thank you.
All right. So do you want to have a look at him?
Yeah.
All right. So you have a look and you see that there is in fact a rather wicked looking bone fragment stabbing into Mickey's foot.
Oh. I'll see if I can try and get that. Evie, could you help me here?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Evie sort of
Am I doing the holding or the pulling?
Carefully now. We don't want to hurt him more, right? No.
Yeah, correct. So why don't you make me a wisdom medicine check with advantage, Charity?
Okie dokie. Ooh, that is a natural 19 plus 3. That is a
all right,
22.
So you are able to very deftly remove the bone, and Mickey sort of grunts and then begins to sort of walk around and can walk normally, and just like very much like the monster in Young Frankenstein, like just sort of does a little dance and is very happy.
Oh.
Oh, that's lovely.
I'm gonna keep this, and I put it in
Maggie sees this and doesn't say anything, but as she walks out, you can see her sort of looking thoughtful and nodding. And as soon as she's gone, Lulu sort of turns on you all and says, so I don't know what brought you here in the first place, and I want to be very clear that I'm very, very thankful for what you've done. If it's okay with you, I think I might come with you all for a while, and, well, I know you don't owe me anything, but I could use your help soon.
Oh, Lulu, of course you can come with us.
I would be remiss if we did not help you, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Well, you all look tired, so let's get some rest, and maybe a little bit later we can talk more about what brought you here.
Yes.
And if you don't mind, Lulu, I definitely would like to talk about what transpired in your headspace.
She sort of like tenses up a little and she says, yes, I suppose we'll have to eventually. And she sort of flies off to the corner where she like finds some place to sort of rest, and you just hear her very softly say as she sort of gets settled, "Oh, Zariel." And that's where we're going to finish for this week. Hey, thanks everybody. What a fun session. We made it through quite a bit. We have moved forward. It's a good time for all. Let's go around, introduce yourselves once again. Let us know who you played, where we can find you on the interwebs, and one of your favored moments from this week's game. We'll go in reverse order from the intros, so we'll start with Wally.
Hi, my name is Wally. You can find me on Twitter at Wally132. I'm usually talking about D&D and all that other good stuff. Definitely would say one of my favorite moments was that really whole tense back and forth that Charity had with the Night Hag. That was really great stuff going on there. Because that could have easily gone very sour that could have easily gone very sour.
Sure.
That was great.
That was
moment.
fun.
Yeah.
All right, Dobbs.
All right, so I'm Dobbs. You can find me just about anywhere under Dobbsmosis. I mainly paint miniatures and ramble about tabletop games. I would say my favorite moment is the actual, like, how Charity, after having their thoughts kind of probed, just started doing these like slights back at Scribbler.
Like it.
It was so petty and I love it.
Totally. I love it.
love it.
Speaking of Charity, Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at Enzo Michael and on Instagram at Mike What the Hell. I mainly shitpost about D&D and how much I love my partner. Anyway, yeah, my favorite moment. It would have to have been when all of the devils were like, "We're going to surrender to you and swear fealty if you let us live." And Charity's like, yes. And the entire rest of the group was like,
nah.
Not so much.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
I love how Scribbler was just like, run. Scribbler's like, go. Was just
I love it. I love how foily the two of you are.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. You can find me on Twitter at AlexCatu. My favorite part of today, I think I just really enjoy how much every character in the group is finding a niche and the dynamics between everybody and how it works, but also there's friction, but it still works. And it feels like a really organic group with connections, with real connections. And I think that we established that last session and just really grew this session.
Totally. Totally.
I think
Love
it was
that.
more of a general kind of feeling.
Yeah, it definitely makes it more interesting. And jumping in at 7th level, already in hell, like had the potential to be sort of scattered, and I think you all have done a great job of that. So thank you. Last but most certainly not least, Jeremiah.
I'm Jeremiah McCoy. I'm Tech Noir on Twitter. He, him. And of course, I enjoy playing Scribbler. He's such an odd character.
Yes, he is.
But I think my favorite moment actually was we're in the initial sort of illusionary almost dreams state that Lulu had, and the fact that it was Charity and Scribbler both didn't want to leave it.
Yeah.
They were like, that there was these two people are wildly different in their motivations, and they both had reasons to want to stay there.
Yeah, I did love that.
And then the both of us were stuck in the muck.
Yes, also that.
Yeah.
Also that. You two are going to be besties if it kills us. All right.
Might kill one of us.
And I'd kill the other.
Really good.
Someone's gonna get stabbed.
Once again, my name's Eugenio, also known as your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, DM Jazzy Hands. Thank you so much for joining us. You can find me on Twitter at DM Jazzy Hands. You can find my podcast, The Last Refuge, on Twitter at DND Last Refuge. We put out new episodes every Wednesday, and we're actually coming up on a really great point for new listeners to start if you don't want to go through 114 episodes of backlog. But anyway, check out our website and our Twitter to find out more about that. Also, if you haven't already, hit the little heart at the top of the screen to follow the channel so that you know when we go live. Coming up next here in just a few minutes, as soon as I wrap this, I'll take a very brief break, and then I'm going to come back with Dan, one of the other council members and founder of the channel, and we're going to do our very first Variant Roles reviews. We'll be reviewing Arcanus, a 5e setting book. So stick around for that for sure. Also, we thank you so much for being here. We thank you for watching and for supporting the channel. Your presence in chat or here just watching is super helpful. When you follow the channel, that's super helpful. You can follow the channel on Twitter as well at Variant Roles. If you have the means and the desire and want to do a little bit more, we also have a Patreon for the channel. You can go to patreon.com/variantroles and support us that way. Or of course, subscriptions here on Twitch also help us out a ton. So we appreciate that. We have a ton of awesome programming going on each and every week. And as that continues to expand, we can't do it without all of your support, your presence, your generosity, and just generally your enthusiasm. So thank you so much. Thank the 5 of you for once again being an awesome party to narrate through this nonsense. It's super fun. I can't wait to find out what happens next week when we're back, what Lulu has to tell you, and what you all find at the spawning trees as you go in search of the rods for Belle. Fantastic. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you all next week. But like I said, stick around. I'll be right back in just a minute or two with this review show. Happy gaming, everybody.
Hey.